Hey guys, what's up? It's Biscuitboo Horror Reviews. I'm here on the floor today just because I feel like sitting on the floor today. So, I've got a bunch of stuff here. Some stuff is gifts from friends. Some stuff is stuff I bought at a convention. Some of it is my Black Friday stuff. So, I've got quite a bit to go through. So, I'm going to start with my, like, recent purchases. Most of this is Black Friday purchases, but um, I went to an FYE for the first time in a few years, probably, and probably a year, maybe a year and a half, and I got some movies. I've got Strangeland, the D. Snyder starring and written horror film. He wrote the script for this film and then starred as the villain. It's a very, very interesting sort of post-Seven, early internet, like, cyber horror um, sort of light torture porn. It's got Robert Englund in it, and he's kind of fun. D. Snyder, I think, gives a legit good performance, which is kind of wild. Uh, but yeah, I got this for 10 bones. And you know what? Even though I didn't think this movie was great, um, I think it was worth the $10 I spent on it. I don't feel like I was ripped off. Um, they had this for they had this for about $6. It's a Velocipaster, which I know I included this on my best of horror, best of the year list for 2018. I'm more than certain I put this one on there for, it was either 26, no, it might have been 2019, 2018, 2019. It was one of those years. It was on my best of the year list. I remember it being on there with In Fabric and a couple other movies. So, yeah, Velocipaster. A pastor, his parents are killed, and he can turn into a Velociraptor. That's the long and short of it. It's really, really wacky, very self-aware, very fun bullshit, and you know what? I love this movie. Give me just 1 second here. So anyway, yeah, Velocipaster. Who can say no? Um, then I got this for 5 bones, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited that I got this for so cheap. It's Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. Who the fuck doesn't want to own this? I haven't watched it yet. I've seen this a million times. I grew up with this movie, but but this one is like the best one. This is like the best animated Scooby-Doo movie, like, period. It doesn't get better than this, and I know that that's like what everybody says, but I say it just as loud. I'm a fucking freak, is what I'm saying. I haven't seen it in years though, so I'm very excited to get back to it. Um, I've got for this. I got for $7. Is House of the Devil on Blu-ray, which is not a bad find for $7. Because I remember this like went out of print for like a little bit, for a short amount of time. This like went out of print, and I was seeing copies of this going for like 25, $30, which isn't too crazy, but like, you know, like compared to what it was like at the time, which was sitting around $7-ish. Um, it was sitting around like the $7 to $10 slot. It for the longest time, and then it shot up really high for some reason. I don't know why, man. But this is a really good one. I really love House of the Devil. This is Ty West's one of his early movies. This is from like 2009. I'm more than certain. Um, perfect uh, perfect recreation of like 80s satanic panic horror. I think everybody knows that and says that about this film. I like this film more than I do X, but I will say I do really like X. I still need to see Purple. though. So, um, I'm getting into my Severin Blu-rays now. I had participated in the Severin Black Friday sale. Only just grabbed a few things that have been out for a little bit that I've been meaning to grab. I got Siege, the Canadian exploitation sort of thriller horror film, and yeah, I caught this one because it hit Shudder earlier this year, and I watched it, and I was like, okay, I can see why there are people who are like, hey, this movie's homophobic. It's definitely pretty grim in that first act when this group of hooligans goes into a gay bar and like beats the patrons of the bar and shit, and it's not a pleasant scene. I'll give you that, but damn, is this like still a legit fucking thrill ride? Like, man, this movie is fucking intense. Lots of good shit here. Really like this one. Reminds me, makes me think of movies like Green Room, for example. Like, if you've seen Green Room, you might dig this quite a bit, or you might like this even more, because I think this is actually a lot better than Green Room is. But Green Room is the movie that comes to mind when I try to compare this to something. Alright, I got Cannibal Man, which this is something I've noticed that Severin has done recently. They used to do these kinds of slipcovers, these really shitty paper-thin ones. Paper-thin slipcovers, which are shit, and they're bad. Now they're doing, like, the fucking Vinegar Syndrome, like, nice, thick, fucking embossed slipcovers, and I really love it. So here I have the Cannibal Man, which this is I'm more than certain this is a Spanish film. This is one from the 70s, I think like 73. And it is essentially a inside the mind of a serial killer movie about a serial killer that works at like a slaughterhouse, and it's just about them, you know, about this guy killing people in his free time. I haven't seen it in many years, and the original title is The Week of the Killer. Cannibal Man is just like the title that it was given. Well, I think there is some cannibalism in this film at one point, but still, it's yeah, it's a good one. I like this film quite a bit. So next I've got this one, which God forgive me if I fuck up how to pronounce this because I'm stupid. Perdita Durango, also known as Dance with the Devil. This is a really great, Alex de la Iglesia is his name, I'm more than certain. He directed The Last Circus, as well as Day of the Beast. Directed this. Directed Action Mutants. Has done a lot of really interesting, violent, out there, disturbing pulp camp horror cult cinema, and this one is cream of the crop. I love this one. This is probably might be my favorite film from him, but I probably need to rewatch it. I watched it earlier this year and quite liked it. I think it's probably my favorite like horror road movie. For the longest time it was that dubious honor went to like Natural Born Killers, but this kind of tops Natural Born Killers in a lot of ways. And then I got Black Candles. This is a blind buy. I'd never seen this before, never really even heard of it. I just thought the cover looked really cool, and I heard it was like a weird, sexy, like exploitative kind of sex cult movie, which sounded wild, sounded great. And I watched it, and you know what? I didn't love this movie, but by God, did it have some really good moments. I'll tell you that. There's a scene where a woman fucks a goat. That's a fucking scene in that movie. The last Blu-ray I got from Severin, and the one I'm like the happiest to have in my collection because I've been wanting to own this movie for years and years and years. It is Skin Deep, the Gabe Bartalos directorial debut film. They also have in their catalog his second film, Saint Bernard, which is even better, and it's like a weird art house film. This is his like Texas Chainsaw Massacre horror film. And just like with Saint Bernard, it's an incomprehensible, just nightmare of weird shit and crazy ass set design and complex effects work. It's amazing, and this is a one of the all-time most bonkers, insano horror films ever. You gotta see this. It's on Tubi currently if you want to watch it. Then I've got a stack of stuff here from well, this is from the Vinegar Syndrome sale, but none of these are Vinegar Syndrome titles. They're all partner label titles that I managed to get because they were on sale. But either way, I'm gonna start with the most disappointing one. I got KFC, which I'd known about this film for a couple of years. This came out in like 2017. This Vietnamese, weird Vietnamese horror film that is centered around violent acts occurring that are connected to each other via the same KFC location. Very interesting, very weird fucking setup. And it's supposedly very disturbing, and I'll give you this, it's got some disturbing moments. In fact, it's got one of the most ghoulishly like deranged moments I've seen in a movie in quite some time. I was kind of blown away by how like just downright disgusting that scene was. And I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want to have to put those words in my mouth. One of the other titles I got, one of the other partner label titles, is this first Blu-ray from VHS Hitfest. It's The Corn Shucker. Oh my god, let me tell you about The Corn Shucker. So, The Corn Shucker is a movie that I heard about years ago, about 6-7 years ago. I heard about it in one of my VHS groups on Facebook, and this guy was like, hey, the director said he's working on getting his film, The Corn Shucker, which has been like unreleased and like unseen for years and years and years. He's gonna finally get it released. And I was like, okay, cool, hell yeah, I'm all for this. You know, like he's working on restoring it or whatever. And I basically just kind of emailed the director. I found out his email very easily. And I emailed him and I was like, hey, is there any way that I can be on like a mailing list to know when this comes out? Is there any way I can maybe get my hands on this? Like, I wasn't trying to be like, hey, you should totally give me a copy of this. But like, at the time, there was nothing about him, like, having it in any distributor's hands at all. Like, it was just him saying, I have found a copy of it. So I was just, like, inquiring, like, hey, when are we going to see this? When can I see this? When can I get my hands on this? Here we are, 6-7 years later, with The Corn Shucker on Blu-ray. Beautiful. This is a shot on 16mm, weird-ass, David Lynch, like, hillbilly nightmare. It's like if David Lynch directed Gummo, or if John Waters directed Eraserhead. It's a fucking weird one, man, and it's so consistently like puzzling and jarring. I had a great time with it. It's really, really great, though. You should totally see The Corn Shucker at as soon as you possibly can. The next one, this is a pretty big one for me. It's the first of the 3 now all released, so I've got to get the other 2. Films of Doris Wishman sets from Agfa and Something Weird. They're releasing Doris Wishman's movies restored in these nice, Blu-ray sets, and that's really, really cool because Doris Wishman was a very interesting filmmaker. Um, I've only seen a handful of her movies, so I figured this is like a huge blind buy because I've seen in this set I've only seen Let Me Die Woman. I've not seen Deadly Weapons. I've not seen Double Agent. I have not seen The Amazing Transplant. I've not seen Love Toy, Keyholes Are for Peeping, or The Immoral 3. I have not seen pretty much anything on this set, so this is all blind for me. I haven't dived into it yet, just because I haven't been in the right mood for it, I don't think. Um, but still, that's there. And finally, the final Blu-ray I have is the new Video Violence Blu-ray, the Snuff Collection. This is the new limited Blu-ray release of Video Violence 1 and 2 on Blu-ray. Both separate discs, reversible cover art for Video Violence 2 if you're that guy who prefers the second one. Cool, nice slipcover that has the front of the video store on it. My big problem with the packaging here, though, is that you put this slipcover on it and then it goes into this slip box. And so when you want to take it out, you gotta slip this off and then slip that off, and then you can open it. Like what? Like just make it a fucking digibook. Like make it a digibook. Make it one of those. Why not? Why not do like a little digibook that slides out? That would make so much more sense. Or just a regular ass Blu-ray case that slides out. Why? Why do you gotta fuck it up? But still, nice, hard, fucking release. I believe this is from TerraVision, who did a couple soundtrack releases, which I have a couple vinyls too to show off. So yeah, I've got some shit today, man. Oh, fuck. Okay, let's do the vinyls next. So I found this on Discogs for $22. That's $20 with shipping. It is a copy of Volume 4 by Black Sabbath from Kazakhstan. Great success. Kazakhstan. This is a vintage Kazakhstan vinyl of Volume 4. And I've listened to it. It's in perfect condition. It's like nobody's ever played it. I've discovered a treasure here. This is a holy grail item, in my opinion. Like, this is like this is a jackpot fucking item. And it's legit. It's legit from a fucking Soviet independent record distributor. That was formed in like 1990. Yeah. This record was released by the first Soviet independent record label, SNC Records, established in 1990. Yeah. Volume 4, and also Volume 4, great album. Probably I want to say my second favorite Sabbath album. It's a really strong one. I love it. Speaking of things I love, I got the soundtrack to Candyman on vinyl. What do we say about Todd Glass's, or is it Todd Glass, or is it, no, it's Philip. Yeah, Philip Glass. Where am I getting Todd from? What can I say about Philip Glass's score to the absolute legendary 1992 seminal horror film, Candyman? It's just a perfect score, and I can't say anything else about it. Now on to something that's like, wow, they really put this on fucking vinyl. It's 2000 Maniacs, the absolute fucking classic, goddamn, the absolute classic Herschel Gordon Lewis film. The soundtrack for it is now on vinyl. This is like the first soundtrack release of any Herschel Gordon Lewis film, I think, and it's a nice ass release. It's a nice gatefold. I'm not going to pull it out of the plastic to show the gatefold. However, I will show you the very beautiful red, gory vinyl. Very, very nice shit. I love it. I love it. I love it. And it sounds great. The theme song of this movie, while problematic, is still a slapper and a half, and I can't even lie about that. The next one is like the most cursed soundtrack to own on vinyl, but like I had to do it. It's also a Terrorvision release. It's the soundtrack to Things. I've been wanting this for fucking years, man. I've been hyped up for this for so long. And this is a 2 fucking LP gatefold with fucking red and blue colored vinyl. Like a weird fucking like purple. Look at that shit. And the other one is like a bright red. Or I think it's like a kind of cherry red. Something like that. Or no, it's like pink almost. In person it looks a little more pink. But yeah, still. Things. I never thought Things needed a vinyl soundtrack release, to be honest. I think the fact that it has one is very hilarious, cosmically. And I do unironically like the soundtrack to Things, though, so I'm happy to have the vinyl, 100%. Happy to own this. Happy to have paid money for it. I went to a convention a couple weeks ago, and I met Dennis Snyder, the voice actor for Master Shake, and I had him sign my Master Shake beer koozie, which he drew fangs on, and he signed it and wrote 1 of 1 on the bottom. And after he signed it, he sarcastically said to me, "Yeah, that'll look real nice on eBay, man." When I handed it to him, he was like, "What's?" He's like, "I do not see many of these floating around." He then said, "However, I do have a box of about 50 of them in my attic that I stole from the final episode party of Aqua Teen that they hosted after they did the final episode," which I thought was a very funny story to hear from him. Yeah, and he drew a little Shake, signed it, put 101, put fangs on Shake because I feel like that's super fitting. That's a very Master Shake thing, like, to do. So I can't even be mad about it. Next, I have something stupid that I bought at the convention for $30, and it wasn't entirely worth it, but it's kind of worth it just for the novelty to me. It's a giant Super Nintendo cartridge of Doom. This thing is bigger than my fucking head. Or no, I think my head's a little fatter, actually. Either way, this is a massive fucking cartridge. And yeah, it's Doom on Super Nintendo. Who can say no to that? Somebody who's financially responsible, I know. Next, I have some stuff that Allie gave me for Christmas. She knows I've been physically reading books a lot more recently because I've gotten like 3-4 new books this year. So she made me some bookmarks and bought me a book. The bookmarks I will show you first. There's this one, which has this nice floral pattern on the back, and then on the front, it's a little piece she did. That's the word soup, but the S is like the S in Shrek. This one has a nice stripe pattern on it, and then it's got some Among Us with an egg. This one's got another nice floral pattern. And then, this one is The Gang's All Here, which is a SpongeBob reference. And then, we got this one, which I like this pattern, actually, the most out of all of them. And this one is just a watercolor, portrait, a little watercolor portrait she did of me, but I only have like one eyeball in it. It's kind of funny. Um, and here is a little thing with her um, fucking handle that she uses. Feral Fixations. So, yeah, go follow that handle, please and thank you. And the book she got, which she got this because she was at a used bookstore and she saw they had a bunch of Stephen King, and she knows how much I like love hate Stephen King. So she was like, "Hey, do you want any of these books?" And she listed off all the ones they had, and I was like, "Hey, can you get me The Gunslinger?" And yeah, I have a copy of The Gunslinger, Part 1, Book 1 of The Dark Tower. I've already read all the Dark Tower novels. They're really great. This is like my favorite one out of the series, I think. It's for me, it's either this one or the second one. This one or Drawing of the Three for my favorite. They're both really, really great. But this one is like crazy cosmic horror western, and then the second book is like an interdimensional like adventure. Um, that only becomes more and more fucked as it goes along. It's good shit. It's problematic, but it's good shit. I love it. And I think I think that is it. I think that's it for this one, guys. So yeah, I'm gonna head out for the evening. You guys have a good one, and stay safe, stay sober, don't get pulled over. I don't know what I just fucking said, man. Fuck it.